first grade. Free kick in at the goalkeeper, long shot attempted. Oh! Great kick pass out wide. That is fantastic. That is sensational. And then the winner. Welcome back to the Blacktown Football Hour podcast. This is the 12th episode of 2022. My name is Mark Topoli, and what you might not be able to see me right now, I'm actually walking very slowly towards you. So I've set you up inside of the goal mouth of the Eastern Roadside Goal, and I'm walking here from the Wanderers side, slowly but surely, and we'll see how long it takes me to get there. I don't know, asking for something different. So here's your something different. I'm just going to walk towards you. We've got a pretty easy episode in comparison to previous. The last two have been pretty jam-packed with content, so I thought it would be a good thing to divvy it up a little bit and take maybe one interview section out and just make this a bit more easy to watch, a bit more free-flowing. This is more for the people who watch the visual aspect of the podcast because there is going to be a lot more highlights packages and sort of post-match interviews, so it really helps if you do watch the highlights and the goal highlights from those games. So sit back, relax. If you're in the car, there are plenty of things to listen to, of course, as always, but this one is particularly for the visual. I'm actually walking way too quickly towards you, so I'm going to slow my trot down almost to a crawl. So, like I said, what I want to do start with, though, is a really big sort of announcement and a reminder even. This is Volunteer Week, National Volunteer Week. So we're really big on this here at the BDSFA. And I think it's important that we commemorate the people who are making our football world tick in the Blacktown region and probably don't get enough recognition for it at all. So come Sunday, keep an eye on your social media feed for the evening. There's going to be a big post dedicated to some of the best, and only just a handful really, but some of the best volunteers that we have on offer here in the competition. There's going to be one representative from each club, so make sure you keep an eye on your social medias. Volunteer Week, there are so many that I've met. Every coach, every manager, every club official, club secretary, board member, they all make our football world tick. It means that you can play games, it means that you can have rescheduled games, get the bang for your buck, and they're also important. As I come somewhere between the halfway line and the 18-yard box now, they edge closer towards the camera. So, Volunteer Week nationwide, so really, really important time for us here at the BDSFA. And I know that all the clubs have been posting about it, so I think it's fantastic. And so I can't wait to sort of wrap that up at the end of this week and give you that final post to really wrap up what every other club has been posting about. So I think it's great. Like I said, less hectic sort of show this week as I approach the 18-yard box. But let's talk about our results. So let's start with the Premier League. Why not, hey? We'll go straight into the match of the round. So why don't we just start with a highlights package. Football just has this knack of being the greatest poetic storyteller, you know? Football writes stories that you wouldn't believe, or perhaps the outcome seems impossible until you see it happen in front of you. It's like those math problems in school where they gave you the answer first, and your task was to find out how on earth they got there. Oakville sit top at the moment, Eastern Creek sit second. Having already played once this season, Oakville winning 5-3 in an 8-goal thriller, you could suggest that the sequel is already a couple of chapters in as of today. Last year and was wonderful, and it's great to have him back forward. Eastern Creek come for the first time. Brian Sohn showing all the pace of a young man despite being at 33. He now looks to clip it into the middle of the area. That's a nice block in the end. But here he is again trying to make amends for that. Catley Bond, that's a very, very deep cross. And then the header just escaping that of Sohn. Brian Sohn might have a chance to flick one towards goal. He's been stopped. He believes it was a free kick that stopped him. And perhaps it might be the follow-up shot. Ooh. It's the back netting. Can't play. Actually might have been Eastern Creek in their first game, that 5-3. It was a demonstrable amount of goals there. Here is Mifsud, ball over the top, looking for Wilkins. This time, Sayer is really, really brave in getting to there first. A great performance today. Sohn with a wonderful flick on. Adrario is there, looking to bully his way into the box. Adrario on the left foot, easy save. It should be, and it is. Really nicely done. Great technique there as he fell onto the ball by Azarul Azahar. Just shy of the 18-yard box, but it was cleared before it could bounce. Mifsud from distance! Just over. Danger. He's now fine. Logan Wilkins is doing his own role in dropping in, and then this shot from distance should be claimed easily. It is. Good technique there. That shot by Ben Barrett.
A reminder as well, if you're watching along, don't forget to send in those goals that you film, those goal of the week contenders. Brian Sohn looks to find his own. That's a really poor moment at the back. And now Brian Sohn outside of the foot, got no power behind it. Keeper still spilled it though, it's been cleared for a throw-in. Late arrival before the game. Will he arrive on the score sheet early? He goes low in the deflection. Oh, great reflexes by Nicholas Sayer. It's still bouncing, and again, they come together. Thankfully, everyone's okay. Long shot attempted. Oh, it's completely scuffed. It might turn into the greatest pass of all time. Whipped into a dangerous area, flicked up by the goalkeeper, and flicked away. Very, very long throw. Oh, in there, Sean Levitt. Watson, in it comes towards the back stick. Watson was there. Great save by the keeper. Watson then. Miscommunication there, and they failed to clear the ball. Araujo, great pass, flicked on. Keating, who's come central. Keating! Oh, he's done it! A sensational goal by Braden Keating. The 8 came central and found himself with another goal to his name. He was given too much space. And if you watched him, Oakville, in that first match of the round of the season, you would know not to give him that much because he's a genius finisher. But this time, we've learned that he can thunder power it from that far out. Was the goal and a half every time. Although perhaps the last chance, no, the free kick was taken and the halftime whistle was blown as the ball was in the air. Halftime, everything changes now. Team talks change, mentalities change, substitutions change. And finally offloads at Chase Wynn. Scuffed ball into the box. Might find Errol though on the turn. Straight into the hands of the grateful goalkeeper. This will also be outswinging. Perhaps they'll also change the trend around and get one in. Towards the front post. Errol. Oh! Elbra. Towards the back stick. Oh, Watson was there. He's clearly the target. Cleared, but not really too far from goal. And then Young. Wasn't even close. Stop they have. Flicked on there. Wilkins is quicker than his oppressor, but it's the one in yellow who comes away with it. Goal kick the decision. Established the year before Eastern Creek, but playing in plenty of other leagues prior to this. And then he's done quite poorly to lose it there. They need to just clear their lines. Scott Young from distance, and then straight into the hands. Perhaps this one will be the one that gets him a second goal. Straight at the keeper. Oh, Keating's given it away. Oh, Wilkins is quick. He's going to get there first. Wilkins past the keeper. Wilkins! Oh! A sensational miss. I'm going to stop the 6-pointer conversation as Mifsud makes his way down the right-hand side. He whips it into a dangerous area. Now, maybe, no, that would have found the side netting. If not claimed by the keeper, he's then spilt it, and it will stay in play, and it would be cleared now, surely. Really brave defensive work there. Ball past, I reckon, 30 free kicks, to be honest. Lukowski takes. That's a really dangerous-looking ball. Wilkins is there, I believe. Shot on goal, surely. Flicked back, and now it's been cleared. Oh, penalty! Oh, Eastern Creek are really not happy with this. Mifsud against Sayer. Huge penalty here. It's Mifsud. Goes to the keeper's right. Finishes absolutely wonderfully. Make that 5 goals and 5 assists to his name. Sayer clears in frustration, and Eastern Creek will be wondering, did we deserve to be behind? It looks like Serkan Errol was taken out. Penalty was given. On that goes. It's a really clever pass. 3-on-2 had to be done, to be honest. Fatigue will start to set in soon. That's clipped into the box. Keeper doesn't come, and then, oh, a really nice turn there by Barrett. Mifsud, the 2 screeners for Oakville. Obviously with 2 very different positional roles. Whose free kick is this going to be? Because if it's Mifsud who's conceded it, there is the red card in his hand. He's off. Mifsud off. From goal scorer and hero to equalise this game, he's going to be shown the early bath. Long that goes. Was involved in the reserve grade game was Hook. Oh, Araujo, great ball. Here is the enforcer himself with fresh legs. He takes a shot. Well done there by AO. Even better there by AO. And now into a dangerous area and cleared. But still now another ball might come in. Could this be where things change in the 6-pointer? Beautiful flick. And now Levitt is there. And Lucas! Lucas has done it! Off of the bench, onto the score sheet to give his side the lead so late on in the match of the round. I talked about him being the enforcer. He was dangerous. He was brave. He ran into space, the ball found him, they couldn't clear their lines, and Oakville find themselves behind again, but this time, probably no time to respond. Brilliant moment of managerial masterclass by Matt Hederick to bring on that man. Welcome back to Match of the Round. Welcome back to Deploy PL2. Chris Lucas, you're a star today. Eastern Creek, are they going to find 3 points today? That'll do it. Eastern Creek victors in such an important game here. Chris Lucas, a stroke of brilliance and a stroke of striking instincts for sure. Late on in the 91st minute.
Boys, you guys have been on plenty of Match of the Rounds in the 2 years we've been doing this. I think that was by far the most entertaining that you guys have been involved in. You've had big wins recently trying to get your way back into your best form, and to win it so late on like that, like, you just must be happy with that.
Yeah, look, we are. We're struggling for numbers. We've got injuries. We've been playing back-to-back games. Look, Oakville played really well. You know, they rushed us. They took us out of our comfort zone, and we weren't that good. But Chris scored the winner, right? He's got a fractured heel. And he's only been playing 5 or 10 minutes, and he goes and jags the winner. So yeah, you're right. Can't be happier.
Yeah, go on, no, please.
I just think it's something that we've always believed in. We just battle. We're a battling team. It's not pretty football all the time, but one thing I always say to the boys, just battle, win your individual battles, get back behind the ball every time. And, you know, sometimes you come up trumps, and we did tonight, so full credit to the boys. It's good.
You're hoarse and you're tired, you're still trying to catch your breath.
Yeah.
But you guys, I didn't actually call you on the mic, but you're the notoriously slow starters, and you finished brilliantly there. Leading by example, as we talked about when you came on the podcast, for example.
Yeah.
I think that was an example of it there.
Yeah.
And I think you, as you can see by the way you are now, you've got nothing left to give.
Yeah.
I think all the boys have something of that nothing left to give sort of moment right now.
Yeah, he's right. You know, and I'll take it from there. It's exactly what we do, right? We're down on numbers. We're down on troops. You've got to battle, right? Yeah, it's not pretty football, but it's pretty good when you win at the 90th minute, right? Turns it all around, turns everyone's attitudes around. And, you know, we get a week off. We don't play Wednesday night, so we go into next Saturday.
Nice.
Hopefully get some troops back.
Yeah. Last thing, Minchinbury, now you've got some, not at all bad blood, but I know you've got a bit of revenge in your boots coming in because you want to beat them, prove to them that you know, they're not to be.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if revenge is the word. They understand what the game was like. Look, they beat us. Yeah, they won. They know where they're at. We know where we're at. And we got some confidence. You know, we get a couple of players back next week.
Yeah, how important is that recovery, do you think?
Massive. We got. I've only just come back myself the last couple of weeks. We got players going out with COVID. We got blokes going down injured left, right, and centre. So. You know, I think we get Joey Dunn will be back hopefully next week. He's, you know, like you said, like get a spell during the week and get some recovery. And even so, I don't think we've had our same centre back pairing this whole season. So, you know, to be winning games with new pairings every week, can't be happier, man. And hopefully in the weeks to come, we'll get back to our normal full strength side and come on with it.
Collective effort. Before we go, it's Mitchell, Hinted, and Cara get married today, so that's why we're down a couple of players. So congratulations to them.
Mitch. Good on you guys.
Hope you're watching it at the wedding.
I'm sure they will. There's more important things. See you later, guys. Seb, as the captain of your side, a side who were top of the table prior to this, to lose that, you know, a third of the way through the season, right at the death, 90th minute, it's hard. How do you make sure that the boys don't drop their heads and, you know, blame things that maybe they shouldn't blame? How do they recover after this?
Well, listen, we've got a good bunch of guys, if I'm honest. We've been working very, very hard throughout the season. You know, we've had some good results. This one shouldn't step us back. You know, we're building as a team. We've got youngsters coming in, we've got new players coming in. A lot of talk about the club. You know, everything's looking positive in that sense. You know, to lose in the 90th minute, it does suck, I'll be honest. But today they've been a team run. It is what it is.
How are you feeling after that? Because it was a very physical battle, lots of balls up in the air, people competing like this all the time.
Yeah, look, it's physical, and that's the thing. That's the Premier League, and you've got to get used to it. Eastern Creek are a great side to play, so we always have a laugh and a joke. And the captain after, he's a great guy. It's always knock, you're always in our ears, but the game's always played in good, fair spirit, and you know someone's got to win at the end of the day. So, yeah.
We'll rest up, and we'll see you then.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
We're going. I'll keep it nice and quick, okay?
Yeah.
Seb, as the captain of your side, a side who were top of the table prior to this, to lose that, you know, a third of the way through the season, right at the death, 90th minute, it's hard.
how do you make sure that the boys don't drop their heads and blame things that maybe they shouldn't blame? How do they recover after this?
Well, listen, we've got a good bunch of guys, if I'm honest. We've been working very, very hard throughout the season. We've had some good results. This one shouldn't step us back. We're building as a team. We've got youngsters coming in, we've got new players coming in. A lot of talk about the club. Everything's looking positive in that sense. To lose in the 90th minute, it does suck, I'll be honest. But today the better team won. It is what it is.
How are you feeling after that? Because it was a very physical battle, lots of balls up in the air, people competing like this all the time.
Yeah, look, it's physical, and that's the thing. That's the Premier League, and you've got to get used to it. Eastern Creek are a great side to play, so we always have a laugh and a joke. Being the captain after, he's a great guy. It's always knock, you're always in our ears, but the game's always played in good, fair spirit, and someone's got to win at the end of the day. So, yeah.
We'll rest up and we'll see you then.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thanks for that too, mate.
No, you're
I return back from you after the interview highlights package right on the penalty spot as I edge even closer to the camera. I hope I didn't burst your eardrums after Chris Lucas scored that winner at the end. It was really fantastic, so I just had to give it up for the moment as Eastern Creek went temporarily top of the table. They're not there anymore, so stick around to see who is actually there come the midweek games. You know what? I think we'll talk about now the Women's Premier League as well, because I'm going to start including that in our spiels. Hello guys, nice to see you. Great to be back here on our wonderful synthetic field one. So, women's competition has really struggled to get games under their belt since, of course, it's only one division as well. So, it's been difficult, but the games that have happened have been really entertaining and really interesting. So, if you go back way to last week, Holroyd Rangers beat Quakers 3-0 on a Tuesday night. And then Holroyd took it to Rydalmere, who remain the team to beat, by the way, 3-5 in favour of the Roaring Lions. So they continue on. Glenwood then bounced back to beat Marryong 7-0 after they lost 4-1 against Parkley in those sort of match of the round streams on that Sunday. It's a really huge win for them. Here is what the All-Age Division 1 table looks like right now. Since the most recent match of the round in the Deploy PL2, of course that was our most recent game, there's only been 2 games that have been played. To be fair, that is half the comps. So it was an 8-team comp, so 2 games is half. Bit of maths for you there. So let's chat about those catch-up games now. So Oakville 8, Minchinbury 0. Oakville bounced back from their match of the round loss in some style. I'm not really sure what happens now with Minchinbury. I'm not really sure what's happened to them in recent weeks. There's a lot of quality in that side, a lot of good experience mixed with youth. But the belief that was there at the start of the season seems to have dissipated a little bit. But I know they'll bounce back. There's still plenty of the season left to go, so they'll be okay, don't worry. Oakville now sit back on top of the table, so there's the spoiler already ruined for you. So Oakville are back on top of the table now in the Deploy PL2. I'll show you the table in just a minute. The goal difference has proven pivotal, and that 8-0 drubbing of Minchinbury will certainly help them come the end of the season. Here's that table for you, by the way. Forgot to mention Blacktown St Pat's had a 2-2 draw with Glenwood, who notched up their first points of the season at all in that 2-2 draw. So, I mean, it's good for them, progression. So, now finally, here is that table. Since the Dooney and Rivo match of the round, haven't been too many games to talk about in the Deploy PL1. Ponds did beat Ropes on Tuesday 2-1 and remain undefeated, but with only 3 games played so far this season. Following on from their loss to Sydney United in the Australia Cup, Quakers bounced back with a 4-2 win over Polonia. And you can hear all about that game from Jules, the Quakers coach. It was filmed before their catch-up game against Polonia. So listen out for what he anticipated regarding that match, which was actually on Wednesday night. Today is Friday. Here is what the table looks like now. That's the single worst sounding Nissan Pulsar I've ever seen in my life. Onto our AYL sides now. Now, I'm not sure why this has happened, but Football New South Wales Dribble only has 1 result up. It was our 15s, and they lost. Bit of a shame. 2-1, they lost against Manly Warringah FA. Our Spartans girls got in the car, went away to the very strong, always strong Northern Tigers. A 2-0 loss in the first of the season for the 14s. The 15s lost 3-1. The 16s won 2-0. Great result and a clean sheet. The 18s played well and had the lead at some point, but they lost 4-2 in that second half. They sort of played worse than in the first half. Reserve grade then won their game 1-0, which is really, really good to see from them. And then the first grade girls had their game postponed. It was meant to be played last night, and then it was postponed again. So nothing to go off there. So they've had a week off. Good on them. So no highlights to show from that either, which would have been courtesy of NPL TV, but not to be this time. Hopefully we can do a twice catch-up next for podcast episode 13. The boys had a pretty rough weekend up against Sydney United away from home. I'm just going to rattle through the results as quickly as my voice box and brain can sort of work together, okay? The 13s lost 3-2, the 14s lost 3-0, the 15s lost 2-1, the 16s lost 3-0, and the 18s lost 4-0. No highlights package for the 18s as they were away from home, obviously. The men were also away, so no highlights package for the 20s. The 20s got their first win under new coach Alan Mutzi, though, which is fantastic. A 3-0 win against Hakawa. And the first grade had a 2-2 draw, which I can show the highlights for. So please enjoy those. They probably won't be enthralled with the final result because they did have, well, I won't spoil it for you, but they did have the advantage. And we'll see what minute that lasted up to. So enjoy the goals now, but I'll stop talking.
There, beautiful finish there from Fabian Gonzalez. Lovely assist there from Danny Lem. Round 10 games. As you see, Cox outside the 18-yard box, dips in low. Oh! Goes into the back of the net, and Hakoa answers. Semi-pressing here. Give it a lot of room. Speaking of room, what can Alessi do? Just loses it. Loses it. Couldn't get the ball back and Black. Son with this free kick. Delivers it all. Nicely into the box. Chance to tie it. Yes, we do. And I think that is Dominic Cox.
I would stay with first grade boys. I'm going to leave it for the halftime break of this episode, actually. It's a new thing for this week and probably this week only. They played a game last night here against Castle Hill Rockets, who are in the Hills Association. They're a Premier League side there, in the 5th round of the Australia Cup. I was lucky enough again to commentate that game like I did against Sydney CBD. And it is an honour, by the way. I'll show you the highlights, an extended highlights package from that game. Not now, but later for that halftime break. So stick around and you'll see the outcome from it. So what else is happening in this episode? So I've got a ton of post-match footage to show you guys from multiple games. Just jumping in really quickly. So for part 2 of the episode today, we're going to be looking at a bit of a preview of a Spartans-related Female Football Week video that we've got going up in the next 48 hours. So be sure to stick around for that one. And I hope you enjoy it. It's going to be quite humorous. But I think we should chat to Jules Bombach now from, it's a German sort of last name, so from Quakers Hill. He's the coach. So I'll see you at the end of the episode. Get keen for the halftime entertainment, though. I'm today joined by Jules Bombach, who is the coach of Quakers Hill Juniors. Technically, the best squad that we have to put out in our entire Blacktown Association. First in the Deploy PL1 at the moment. They went particularly far, if my brain is serving me correctly, the farthest of any of our sides in the Australia Cup, which we'll touch on a little bit here. But really good to have Jules back on for a second time on this podcast. So, Jules, thanks very much for joining me, by the way.
No, pleasure, mate, as always.
Excellent. So, we'll actually touch on that Australia Cup first and foremost. So I was there for about 85 minutes of the game. I wanted to beat the traffic on the way out, so I hope you'll forgive me for that. But
nah, all good, mate.
Just tell me, you're a massive football fan from international to domestic to second division domestic in this country. So I know how much playing against that side, Sydney United 58 would have been for you and some of the boys there particularly. So as a coach and someone who's at the earlier parts of their coaching career, what was that experience like for you personally, playing against a mid-table NPL 1 side?
Yeah, brilliant, to be honest. I think if I had to sum it up in one word, it would be that. It was a fantastic learning exercise for us, all of us, in terms of players, coaching staff, everything. We went into the game obviously not quite sure about how they would treat the game. I mean, with no disrespect, they are 4 or 5 levels above us. So there is always that, I guess, danger, like I believe in the other time a Blacktown Football Association side has played a NPL 1 club with Marconi playing the Ponds. There were a few young lads into the squad, and it was a bit of a hybrid mix of like 20s, maybe a sprinkle of 18s, and maybe one or two first graders. But to come up pretty much against their starting 11 minus, Trafiro, it was exceptional. Looking at the team sheet before the game started, I was like, this is, you can react one or two ways. You can be like, oh, bugger. or you can react positive. It's like, this is an amazing opportunity and great experience as well. So yeah, it was fantastic. Got a lot out of it, and onwards and upwards.
No, for sure. When I had a look at that team sheet and you're going back and you look through exactly who the goal scorers were, I had a look at their social media posts, and I was like, yep, that's they're not here to muck around. They're here to put in a statement. So
yeah,
which is good that they took you guys seriously. But I mean, from your perspective, speaking of full strength squad, you were missing your captain. And there are players where I was looking at thinking, okay, I don't remember him particularly from the commentary that I did, a month and a half ago. So, like, fantastic effort, and you guys were in it. I think probably for at least the first half of the first half, so first quarter of the game.
Yeah,
you guys had a great performance. I think then it comes into when they can employ conditioning staff, and obviously that edge in the tactical brain is
absolutely
pushed away. And but I think the effort, again, as someone who watched it, the effort was fantastic.
Yeah, I made no bones about it before the game. We went in there with, regardless of who we're going to come up against, don't go into any game expecting a loss, expecting a draw. We go into every game with a win. And I know that some people probably from the outside look like and think that I'm bonkers for thinking that against Sydney United, but my attitude is, if you don't have that belief to go into a game, any game, and with that expectation to win, then you've already lost before you've stepped foot on the park. So it was good. And look, the players, I could not be prouder of my players. I know it's probably a cliche and a lot of coaches will say that, but I really could not be prouder of my players. They put in an amazing effort. I agree. I think the first 25 minutes, we had them a little bit, I wouldn't say worried, because they are still quality, but I there was a lot of bickering on the pitch. There's a lot of name calling in Sydney United, which was, look, it was kind of nice to see from our point of view that we're able to sort of get a little bit under their skin in a football sense and make it hard for them to break us down and obviously get a few half chances here and there. But I think for the first 25 of each half, we were really good. And that's how I said to the boys, I said, for 50 minutes, so over half a game, you took it to an NPL1 club and you were toe-to-toe with them. So if that doesn't give us confidence to go forward in the league, apart from obviously the results that we've had recently, then I don't think anything will. And everybody is, for a loss, everybody was very positive. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And I think you mentioned right there at the end, and I'll touch on it, that recent results in the league, despite recent results, I think you could probably point to these midweek games being a challenge for everybody. Now, I've spoken to many club presidents, coaches, players. It is a struggle, but it is the nature of what we're dealing with in Australia in terms of grade. And everybody, every association, every club is struggling with it. So just left of centre for a second, if you're watching along, just keep enjoying your football as much as you can, because we're trying to make up for the 2 years that we've lost. We don't want to make it any worse than that. So we're trying to make up for it as best as possible. So we appreciate you guys all pushing along with us. But yeah, I think now that even though, you obviously want to have a great cup run, I think you did. You actually have less games on the schedule now, which means maybe Ash comes back from injury and this person comes back from injury.
Yeah.
You can start to just focus on what's really most important now.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing I did say to the lads, say, hey, another positive apart from your exceptional performance. Hopefully, weather pending, no more midweek games. So I got a little bit of cheer in the change rooms as well. It is what it is. It does make it challenging, but that's challenging for everybody, and that's the thing. It's just the nature of the beast at the moment, unfortunately. So we're at the mercy of the weather. So, but yeah, it does allow us a little bit of time to recuperate, get some players back, and go on from there.
Yeah. Now bringing it back to the league now. You're 4 games played, 3 wins, 1 loss. Can you talk to me about that? If you can cast your mind back, talk to me about that loss. So tell us, who was it against, and where did it go wrong?
Yeah, it was against Pons, matching around, opening round of the season. It was an interesting one. I've obviously watched the game back, which is fantastic. And to be able to do that with the Blacktown, match of the round, it's really good. Certainly, I utilised that, and it was a weird one because I look back at it, and particularly in the start of the second half, after we corrected a couple of things, and it was still 0-0 at that point. We were right in it, and we got a couple of really good half chances that, looking back at it, maybe we probably should have and could have buried away. But that's football. You do not take your chances when you're on top. You will get punished. And it was a great lesson. If you're going to get a lesson in that, you want it to come very early in the season. And we did it at the earliest point of the season. So, look, Pons are exceptional when it comes to their defensive structure. So, and that's going to be a challenge for us in terms of, obviously, when we play them again in a couple of weeks. I'm really looking forward to that fixture, and we've had a look at it, maybe different ways we can potentially break them down. We should be back to full strength as well, which even for that game, I know both sides had a bit of problems with the strength of their squad. So, yeah, it should be good. It should be a really good, even contest next time come around, and hopefully we can get the 3 points and correct that first round result.
Tell me, I can't remember who was considered home at Blacktown Football Park, but are you guys home or away for the next time you meet against them?
We're away. So, Jonas Bradley, which, look, it's neither here nor there. I'm sure we'll make a good account of ourselves no matter where we go.
Yeah, no, sure, absolutely. But look, since then, and obviously we spoke after that match and probably about similar things then, and I'm glad you've been able to go back and watch it. So I think it's good that what you identified on the side of the pitch during those 90 minutes is the same as what you did when you went back and watched the full thing. So that's good that you've been able to get, perhaps you've been able to get something 5%, a little bit more from that. And appreciate the nice words about the stream in itself. So look, since then, you were kept scoreless. So you've scored 16 goals in 3 games, as far as my eyes are telling me. And obviously been flawless in terms of the points instead. So 9 from those 3 out of a possible 9. So would you say that the performances have been have you been finishing those chances a whole lot? Obviously you have. But would you say you could have even scored from even 16? Could you have scored even 20? Could you have scored 25? Or were you actually probably, actually finishing off and performing how you want to be?
I think probably the first half of the Doonside game, I can put hand on heart and say the chances we had, we buried. So it was extremely clinical in the first half. Apart from that, I definitely think we could have added, and we've missed some chances, and obviously holding the squad to high standards, and everybody holds themselves to high standards as well. We know that we could have finished off games a little bit, with a potentially a larger scoreline, but at the end of the day, there does come a point where you do try to manage the game as well, and we don't want to concede. I'm not happy that we've conceded 2 goals, and they were sloppy goals. Both goals were sloppy, and the defence knows, that we obviously have to fix that up. And it's, obviously when I say defence, I mean the whole team in terms of how we're defending and our structure. And it's just 2 moments of just switching off, and that's all. So as long as we correct that, we're looking pretty good. Obviously up front, we're getting our goals from a couple of different sources, which is fantastic as well. So yeah, look, I'm genuinely fairly pleased with how we've gone the last 3 games. I do think it could be even better though.
Yep. Well, that's good. I mean, it's good to always have somewhere even higher in mind. Having a look at, I've got the table here in front of me, and I think in years gone by, and even this season, probably less so this season, based upon what I'm looking at. But I think in years gone by, I would say Doonside's midfield, I think particularly their midfield is quite strong. When I've watched them once off of match of the round, once on match of the round. Pons' defence and Mariong's attack seem to be the strongest parts. So the 3 teams sitting directly below you, they've all got each of their own sort of really, really strong points that stand out, and you can talk about quite a lot. This is a bit of a question of self-reflection that might make you giggle a little bit. What do you reckon sets you apart from, obviously you're sitting ahead of those guys. So what do you reckon
The points on the table.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what puts you ahead of those guys? Where do you think Quakers are strongest? Obviously, without giving anything away, but where do you think you guys are strongest, and where should teams sort of fear you? Is it your ability to hold out games like a Pons? Is it your ability to dominate a midfield like a Doonside? Is it your ability to just score more than the other? What is it?
I think it's something that's not tangible at all. It's the culture. I think that is our biggest strength at Quakers. I think it's evident as well in terms of it's a whole club thing. With what we saw last Thursday, the whole club is behind this team, which is just, I'm getting chills just thinking about it now. Like, honestly, it was so nice to see, but it's, it's the club, it's also the squad. The squad really is one. I've got players that are knocking on the door of being in my starting 11 Prems team, but because the team is performing so well, they can't get into it. I've had players drop down, come up, and even some 21s players come in and really start to push into these, more senior spots. And the best thing is that nobody takes it to heart in terms of, if they are off or if they aren't starting, it's all about team and squad first. And everybody's bought into that and everybody's very comfortable with that. And I think that goes a long way in terms of having success across the board, which I think I've said before is, it's great for a Prems team to obviously, be where they are, but we want to have success across the board with the Prems, the reserves, the 21s. We treat it as a true squad. And I think we're getting there. We've had some challenges with personnel injuries and sickness, as everybody has, but the building blocks are there to have a very successful season across the three.
That's such a good. That's probably one of the best answers we've had on the 12 episodes of this show. In terms of a match of the round review preview sort of thing. I think that's brilliant. I did have a question down that I did want to ask you about crowds in relation to that Thursday night game last week, and I think you're going to provide a brilliant lead in. But before I do that, I think that's an exceptional thing. I know how strong the culture is there. I experienced it myself for the first time, and I think that's really, really good. So, really good answer there.
Thanks, mate.
Really, really good answer, actually. So, look, speaking about that lead on, I wanted to talk about what it's like playing in front of a big crowd like that. Now, I'm sure that I saw the Facebook events. I spoke to Peter. I spoke to plenty of people. There were people from other teams that I reckon, like some of the Premier League women's, there's All Age Division 1. I saw some players there.
Yep.
From that team. So there was obviously this communication, this commitment to, we're going to get there, jump across the M7 and let's all make this a good night. And it was loud.
Yeah.
Crowd. Luca Gallo had a chance to score in the first half. Like reverberating, it was loud. It was great.
He's gonna watch this back now, and he doesn't like missing chances. He's he's a loud person.
He's usually clinical, but I think his name is Daniel Nizic. I mean, that's a former bench goalkeeper. That's a serious player to try and beat. Huge guy as well.
Yeah, massive.
Yeah, so he did well to get in that position in the first place. But talk to me. Look, you guys are obviously aiming for and looking like you're heading towards finals with 4 games in. Sure, that's not even I don't even think it's a fifth of the way through the season. We've got plenty of time.
Yep.
So tell me, I think you'll get, obviously being a Saturday and Sunday and that sort of thing, you'll have more in numbers, and you'll have family that will come out and make the trip. They won't be interrupted by midweek work sort of thing. So.
Yeah, sure.
Tell me about what it was like to play in front of that crowd, and as you push towards finals, like knowing that you'll get more. How much of a boost will that be, whether it's at home, away, or even Blacktown Football Park?
Yeah, I think it's funny because obviously community football, you don't really think of crowds being a factor because sometimes some clubs and Quakers in years past, it's been fleeting in terms of. Whether you have people watching there. I mean, there's always a group of about, 30, 40 people that come pretty much week in, week out and have done for years. But to look up in the stands and see that many people, it was just mind blowing. I expected that we'd have some, and I knew there'd be naturally some extra numbers there, but to see the numbers we did, I was just, completely blown away. And I'm really hoping that we can make that a semi-regular occurrence as well throughout the season, and certainly, as you said, into finals. Yeah, that would be amazing. Even if like you said, no matter where we are, if we're able to really get some word throughout the club, and I try to walk around of a Monday and Wednesday when we train and sort of just have a chat to the coaches around the place, and it's just try to build relationships throughout the club and that sort of thing. So hopefully that we're able to continue on that path, and we can get that crowds, because they were phenomenal. Like, seriously, it was loud. It was really loud at times. It just makes it so exciting. Talking to the players as well, they were a buzz with it as well. And some of those lads have played NPL, and they said they haven't had an experience like that since they've been out of NPL. So yeah, it's really special.
Yeah, it is. And there was a sea of green. Everybody specifically wore green. I can't think of one person who wasn't. I was speaking to a friend of mine who I used to ball with a couple of years ago. He's now working at VSP as like a sort of a match day coordinator sort of thing.
Yep.
And he was saying he had to actually make sandboxes for flares in case they came. So that was the kind of game.
I did see some signs about players. I was like, oh,
exactly.
Yeah.
Now that was obviously probably more for your opposition, but it was the nature of the game that there was an expectation that it was going to be big, and we spoke about reposting things in our social media pages so that we could get a big crowd. You didn't need me at all. You guys.
No, I appreciate it though. Yeah.
But I think that goes back to the club culture that you talked about. And I'm yet to actually visit your home ground for a match of the round.
Yeah.
In the 2 years I've been doing this, so it would be great this weekend. And I think it'll be. We're actually.
No,
you are. No, you're at Blacktown Football Park. I've just realised. No, you're exactly right. So I'm yet to visit, but eventually I will. So let's speak about that. Actually, no, we'll speak about your game in a couple of hours first. So you'll be up against Polonia.
Yeah.
The last two questions. So you're up against Polonia.
Yep.
And obviously, considering your position on the table, and obviously you've been able to watch them in one of their performances as well, match of the round, I would suggest that the expectation, and you would expect your boys no less than 3 points, correct?
Yeah, but I mean, and that's the thing, is that the best thing about it is that nothing changes from week to week.
Yeah,
that's what we expect week to week, and that's we won't take the game lightly. Doesn't matter where anybody's coming on the table. You can see shock results already. The fact that I think it was Workers that won against Marion, sort of, it's interesting. I was like, I know Workers have amassed a really good squad, and I know Marion are still strong, but it just shows that competitive nature of Premier League is only getting stronger, and it's quite an even league. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day. So it'll be a good match. But yeah, like with any week, we go in at 3 points.
Yep, for sure. And you got Parkley, another side who went into the Australia Cup. So a club that have been playing into before pre-season even, so plenty of matches already under their belt, and it'll be the first time they feature on the match of the round, so you won't be able to sort of go back like a Polonia tonight.
Yeah.
But again, Parkley 1 win in 5, and a difficult one to find, a difficult game against you guys to find their second. So back at Blacktown Football Park, a place you've played on a numerous amount of times now. Are you what's it like being back in front of a big audience already, and are your boys ready to go?
Yeah, look, we're certainly ready to go. I think, like I said, there's obviously some challenges in terms of injury. Our captain Ash Corey will still be out at this stage, so he's probably still at least another 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks away. So there will be challenges in that regard, but yeah, look, if we're well and truly ready. We had a good training session on Monday. We'll obviously have the game on tonight and get through that obviously as best as we can. And yeah, look, it's going to be good. It's always a good occasion to play at Blacktown Football Park under lights, live streamed and that sort of thing. So looking at the results, and that's all you can do. It's interesting. The one thing that we probably noticed is they do score, a decent amount of goals. So it's something that we need to look out for. They're probably second or third highest goal scoring team. So they know their way towards goal. On the back end, leaking a couple, but yeah, look, it's at the end of the day, we just have to turn up, stick to our, principles and philosophy, and we'll give ourselves a good chance of getting hopefully another 3 points on Saturday.
Fantastic. And I know it might have just been because of the Australia Cup game, but I saw you in pretty much a full, if not half, sort of suit thing with a big jacket over the top. Are we expecting the same sort of style, fashion icon from Saturday?
Mate, it's all about the mock necks and the Yeezys at the moment. That's a little bit of a trademark. I try to get that going almost actually I'm wearing the top that I'll be wearing most weeks. So yeah, mate, it's I've gotten a few comments about it, both negative and positive. Mrs. isn't a big fan of the mock necks, but it's a trademark now, so got to keep it.
Oh yeah, no, for sure you have to now. I think you definitely have to. Jules, best of luck tonight and come Saturday as well. But I'll speak to you before Saturday, so it'll be great to have you guys back. Thanks very much for joining me here, though, as well. I do appreciate it.
No worries, mate. Anytime. Thanks.
All right, mate. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Now on that far side, from one side to the other, come the Spartans. Bangura strong, even with the challenge in the back there. And now threading between the lines. This should be the first goal. If he can get around the keeper, perhaps he's done just that. Open goal to tap into. He's done it. First goal of the day. Cue the goal music for the Spartans. At home, they take the lead. Thomas Benash, 21-year-old, who's now made it 3 goals in all competitions this season. Tremendous in the back and brilliantly of Hamilton, and no, that ball might find him, and now he's through on goal. It's Samuel Hamilton, one touch. Hamilton! Oh, Romic, what a save. What a save by Romic. He's kept his side with the 1-goal advantage and kept his side with a clean sheet so far too. Oh, Bangura, that ball is very dangerous. Bangura, keeper has to commit. He's gotten past the keeper, simple tap in surely now! And then on the stroke of half-time at home, the Spartans double their advantage. Brilliant by Bangura. And he makes Castle Hill Rockets pay for their mistakes down the other end. Brilliant change off the bench now. Oh, they don't want to make it get worse before we even hit that final whistle of the half. Finley Hayhurst! Oh! Brilliant from outside the box by the 8. Brilliant. Just exceptional. And they switched off, and that might just do it, Body defending. Bar 1 for the Rockets. And it's cleared by Robbie Polistina. Long shot attempted by Manos. Oh, the keeper split the first one, and then the easy tap in. But the offside flag is raised. Just outside the box, a couple of step overs. Manos on the left foot. Deflection! Oh! Manos. Oh, brilliant. And then Apostolopoulos. Oh, brilliant finish. Underneath the keeper. Off of the bench onto the score sheet. In the Sydney CBD game, he set up one right at the end for Sully Bangura, you might remember. But this time he said, I'm going to take the selfies option. Hayhurst, 1 goal scorer to another. Thought about this spectacular. Oh, thought about it. Beattie wants his goal in front of the crowd. Beattie, yes. Might have taken a very slight deflection, but the goal is his nonetheless. And Joel Beattie, the 26-year-old, his first year at the club, previously at Wollongong, can really say, hey, that's my first goal in a competitive game this season.
All right, I'm here with the person who scored the first goal of the day, my 21-year-old friend who has the hardest name in the entire game to pronounce, but we'll see if I do a good enough job or not. So, look, you took that first goal and you really put your side forward with the momentum. You're going to be happy with how you took it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's my first start in a long time because I was injured, and but it's good to get those minutes in, get that, running in those legs. But yeah, also that confidence booster. Definitely, as a striker or as a winger, it's very important to score a goal and then, get that confidence up. But yeah, definitely in the change room, Andy, the coach, was saying, hey, we have to take this game seriously like any other game. And so, scoring that early goal at the start is definitely a confidence booster for the whole team. So yeah, definitely happy about that.
Paul Apostolopoulos tried to score a similar goal to yours, beat 1, then 2, and then beat the keeper and scored into an open net, but then it was offside. So you kept your sort of goal of the day, I reckon you could call it, maybe besides Finley. So, what do you, when you're doing that, I've never been in a position like that in my life. That's why I'm here, right? So when you're getting past one or two, are you actually thinking about what my next move is, or are you just doing it what's instinctive?
I mean, I just do whatever I do with my. I just do whatever whatever I think at that moment.
Merry Christmas.
So I just do whatever just happens at that moment, I guess. As a striker, I always practice always going around the keeper whenever you can, because then that's a free goal or you get a penalty out of that, so it's like a win-win situation. So I mean, anytime you go 1v1, for me it's like usually go around the keeper, because either you get a pen or I score a goal. So that's what I usually do.
Good, mate. All right,
cheers. Cheers, man.
Jeez, that's good. A bit of an impromptu Blacktown Football Hour podcast, post Australia Cup 5th round interviews with a goal scorer today, the 10 who wears 8, Finley Ahurst, and the captain, Scotland. I'll start with you, Finley. Your goal to make it 3 for half time, probably the most important of the game. Kind of sealed it off really before they even got the second passage to play. So you saw the space open up. Was it just an instant thought, yep, we're going to hit it?
Yeah, it was just not many other options, so I just banged it. Got lucky.
Got lucky. You can finish, bottom left. Colin, you must be happy. Andrew Holt is happy. We'll be happy with the team performance, clean sheet.
Yeah.
Didn't really let them in the whole game. Happy?
Yeah, happy. First half, they were good. They caused us problems at half time. We went through it pretty briefly, and we sorted it out for the second half, and from there on we were comfortable at the back. So.
And you guys are playing significant amounts of minutes, and especially you barely ever get subbed off, if ever. Wanderers just up the road in a couple of days. How's the body feeling, particularly for you, Alex?
Yeah, body feels good. Always going to be up for a Wanderers game while they're at home. It's a game we can always check up for. It doesn't matter how we're feeling on the day. So the boys are going to be ready for it. It's going to be a good game.
You feel the same thing?
Yeah, 100%. Took my part off the bench.
Okay, boys, I'll let you go. See you later.
Cheers.
What were your thoughts on tonight's game?
Look, I think it was a display that we played what was in front of us. I think Castle obviously tried to play, which credit to them. They definitely came out and tried to play rather than banging long balls. I think we took the sting out of them and made them work defensively early doors, which would reap dividends later on in the game. So, look, it was a professional display by us.
Any new changes within formation, and if so, how did that impact today's game?
We rotated the squad with very mindful of the load that the boys have been under for the last couple of weeks, and with Wanderers this weekend, a quick turnaround on Saturday. So we made probably about 6 or 7 changes to tonight's squad, and really threw down the gauntlet to those guys to come out and try and play, and also to top them up on minutes as well.
What did it mean to have the lead during half-time?
First goal was critical. When you play teams like this, if they get a sniff, then they're tough to beat, and you don't want to be pegging that back. So it was critical that we set the tone. We scored the first goal, and we went on with it, which is something that we probably haven't been able to do this year in the league. But tonight I was happy that we got 1, we got 2, we ended up finishing it off. So I was happy with that.
As you said, coming up this week you're versing Wanderers, a strong team. Any tactical changes or any approaches you need to take when coming and facing Wanderers?
Yeah, on Tuesday night we worked on defending from the 85th minute onwards. Try not to concede goals after that. Look, we'll do our homework on Wanderers. They're a good team that look to play. Be a good game. Looking forward to it.
All right, so tonight's training session, focus, I'm sure you've already read it, forward runs, hitting the 9 and striking and finishing. Okay, so we're going to have a lot of goals tonight, a lot of striking in front of goal, a lot of finishing, and hopefully getting my girls quite comfortable hitting the back of the net, because we're not at the moment. Okay, so we're big focus on linking up with the 9 tonight. So can we play into the 9? Can we support the 9? Can we play through the middle? Okay, I think Cash Chigi touched the ball about 3 times on the weekend, so which is not her fault, but there was just no link up through the middle of the field. Okay, so we're going to have a bit of focus on that. Big focus on timing of the run, so we're not arriving too early when we make those runs. Quality of finish is big, and ball speed has to be really, really good with this to make it buzz. Okay.
I'm nervous. I'm just watching what Reday's done because Reday's my player. That doesn't seem. Yeah. Yes, Maya. Madja. Oh, taxi. Hope that I'm on camera with my right foot. Was that on camera?
Sometimes power isn't the best option. Place it in the corner.
Yeah. I write down one of my penalties.
Yeah. Rexy! Am I blind? Where's Culver, Rexy? Yeah. Well, why do I have that? Because you're unlucky. What? Welcome to my YouTube channel. Yeah, get up, bring up!
As I wrap up of our show this week, I'm going to scrunch this paper. It's now surplus to requirements. It fell dramatically behind my back. It landed somewhere over there. I'm also going to show you our goal of the week, which will be posted tonight alongside this episode. So here it is now.
Miscommunication there, and they failed to clear the ball. Araujo, great pass, flicked on. Keating, who's come central. Keating! Oh, he's done it! A sensational goal by Braden Keating. The 8 came central and found himself with another goal to his name. He was given too much space. And if you watched him, Oakville, in that first match of the round of the season, you would know not to give him that much because he's a genius finisher. But this time, we've learned that he can thunder power it from that far out.
Haven't decided which one it's going to be, but there is very limited stuff to go off. It's probably going to be a Premier League one. But if it's not, we're going to find something else. It is difficult with the game cancellations, of course. We do have games going ahead this weekend, fingers crossed, so far. But I would like to remind how important it is for us at the BDSFA regarding Volunteer Week, so National Volunteer Week. Keep an eye on your social media feeds for Sunday. All the clubs have been posting about it throughout the week. I think it's a fantastic cause, and it really gives the sort of recognition we need, even though they should be deserving of it every day. I think this is a time that they deserve to really relish in. So thank you to all of our volunteers. We are so thankful here. There's so many around me, around us here at the staff at BDSFA, and we couldn't be more happy to have you guys along who are just passionate for football and seeing it progress at community level. So thank you guys. It's also coming towards the latter part of the Shush for Kids movement in New South Wales, which is a movement that we talked about, I think, in episode 10. I talked about it with Sue Sim, if you do remember. So it basically means that when you're watching youth level sport, as you're a parent or you're an onlooker from the sidelines, please be aware that what you do say on the sideline can be impactful on young ears, whether that be players, young coaches, young referees. In the end, this is not the World Cup final, although in the moment you might think it is. So just make sure that you stay passionate, please, but stay within the boundaries of what's acceptable. Of course, not all of you. Don't worry, I've said the wrong thing sometimes. I've got a younger sister than me. I use myself as an example. I used to get very passionate at sports, still do, but I just am very careful of what that can mean to a younger mind. So just make sure that you're just looking at what you say. Otherwise, I think we're going to wrap up the episode. So thank you very much for watching along for our 12th episode. 12, that's 6 times 2. That means from our 6th episode, we've had 6 more since then. The more you know, by the way. Thanks very much for sticking around to the end. Hope you enjoyed the sort of halftime entertainment and a wrap up finally of our Female Football Week happenings. Of course, watch the match of the round this weekend. Spartans boys and girls, men and women will be back as well. We'll be back here for the match of the round. For Quakers Hill Juniors and Parkley, who'll feature for the first time. They are unable to feature on this episode, but they're going to be, for the next one, they'll definitely be here to feature and give a bit of a preview and talk about their season. But until then, let's cue the outro music. My name is Mark Topoli. It always will be Mark Topoli, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.